Hi, I'm Lynda Hartigan, the Rosemary and Eijk van Otterloo Executive Director and CEO of the Peabody Essex Museum. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chats. These chats take place in historic structures and special places across PEM's campus to share updates and reflections about the museum alongside conversations with special guests who help bring PEM's mission to life. Today, we're coming to you from one of the oldest surviving houses in Salem, the John Ward House. Originally built in the 1680s for a successful leather worker, this structure is a beautiful example of first period architecture with its steeply pitched gables and diamond-paned leaded casement windows. This house carries with it over 350 years of layered history. Scientific analysis of the timber beams tells us that this very kitchen was constructed in the summer of 1692, a year deeply etched in Salem's memory due to the witch trials. Back then, the house stood just a few blocks away across from the old Salem jail. By 1890, it had become a tenement, home to some of the city's poorest residents. And in 1910, to save it from demolition, PEM curator and preservationist George Francis Dow relocated it to our campus. Today, it's part of our popular walking tours that explore Salem's architectural treasures. Which brings me to today's guest, David Snider, PEM's Director of Learning and Community Engagement. David oversees a vibrant portfolio that includes public programs, internships, community partnerships, and educational offerings for learners of all ages. It's a big job, especially as our calendar of events continues to ramp up with more and more different opportunities. So, David, here we are in the Ward House, complete with our coats because it's a little chilly in here, but it is fall after all. So I'm just really glad that we're doing this fireside chat. Of course, I want to lead with the question of what's your team up to these days?
Thanks, Lynda. It's great to be here and great to talk to you. Right now, our growing team, and there are 14 of us now in learning and community engagement, is really focused on continuing to develop clear and sustainable programs while creating innovative and accessible gateways to learning. So it's about balance and excellence, innovation with consistency. Each member of our team brings their own passion for engagement, but collectively as a group, we're really focused on creating meaningful, inclusive experiences for all of our visitors. And here's a fun fact. In just the last year, our department supported 343 unique events and many tours that reached over 35,000 people, from toddlers to retirees. And that scale of impact is really energizing and rewarding for our team.
Yeah, so that's not just a fun fact, that's a really important fact as we build audiences for the museum. And as you are working with your team to do that, you've brought almost 25 years of experience in the arts and culture sector, but primarily in the performing arts arena. So I'm curious about, what motivated you to move into the museum sector, especially, an art museum?
Yeah, it's a really important question. So I've always believed in storytelling, whether it be theater, music, dance, visual arts, and I also believe that cultural places like museums can really inspire transformation and connection and can truly be a 21st century town square for gathering, bringing people together. And I've been a fan of PEM for so many years that I couldn't pass up the opportunity to come here and contribute to this amazing institution.
Well, we're glad you're here. And one of the reasons that you are so deeply busy at this point in time is working to create more multidisciplinary, longer-term kinds of offerings for our audiences. So, give me some examples and some detail, maybe for things like PEM Presents and PEM Reads.
Yeah, those are both two great examples of ways that we activate the museum in unexpected ways. So PEM Presents brings artist residencies and speakers and creators to create new work and share it based on our exhibitions and our collections and our themes. And we've had music composed on site here, we've had live theater in the galleries, and we've even had dance pieces created by artists who spent time in our archives. And then PEM Reads just wrapped up a very ambitious year-long reading of Moby Dick. A marathon tied to our exhibition about the Moby Dick book arts that Dan Lipkin and the Phillips Library did. And we spent an entire year meeting people online, just fostering a lot of great, amazing discussion about that book. And we continue to host book events and author events that invite audiences to look at literature through the lens of art and vice versa, and also engage the best works and the best authors who are writing about history and science and, of course, the arts.
So that's really about what is it that we can offer to people to really ignite their curiosity and their imagination. And we are very committed, as you well know, at PEM, to being a magnetic, human-centered gathering place. We want people to be curious, to be inspired, and to actually be connecting with each other and with new ideas. And I'm curious in another way in terms of what inspires you right now.
Well, one of the things that really inspires me is that in our strategic plan right now, PEM Forward, one of the pillars is learning, which means we're prioritizing learning and we're ensuring that it's joyful and accessible and productive. When we just did a study of the depth and breadth of our programming as well, we found that PEM Pals serves toddlers while we also offer professional development for teachers and everybody in between. And one of the things that we're really looking forward to this spring is the launch of a new program called Creative Kids. That'll be a new series of week-long arts enrichment programs for kids ages 11 to 13. From Monday through Friday, they'll spend all day at PEM with teaching artists exploring arts activities in our exhibitions and galleries, leading to them creating their own original visual artworks and writings based on their experiences.
So that's a great example of how we help to stimulate the lifelong learning journey for people. And we're obviously very focused on what we're doing here, but there's a whole world of museum education and community engagement outside of the museum. So what sorts of trends or shifts are you seeing in the larger world of museum education right now?
Yeah, post-pandemic, there's definitely a shift going on, and I think people are really hungry to be in person, to connect with real, deeply connected experiences. And museums, I think, are evolving even further into civic spaces, so places where people gather not just to learn, but to make meaning together. And it feels to me like today in our world, that's more important than ever. And we offer visitors and community members in a lot of ways a third space beyond school or home or work where they can feel inspired and nourished and enlightened by the arts. And we really try to take them on a learning journey that starts with curiosity and builds empathy and leads to action.
That third space concept is really critical.
Yeah.
I mean, it does go to that whole concept of belonging that we are so committed to. So, final question. What are you looking forward to this winter?
I'm really excited about our upcoming exhibition, Edmonia Lewis, Set in Stone, in part because it just gives us an amazing opportunity to teach students and all of our visitors about this amazing artist. And as you well know, Edmonia Lewis, as a Black and Indigenous artist, blazed a new trail into the world of neoclassical sculpture in the 19th century. And too few people know about her work and her art. So we have a whole slate of engagement activities planned, in-school programs, after-school, arts activities, expert panels. We'll just be spending months celebrating Edmonia Lewis and her life and her work.
And you mentioned not well known now. Ironically, of course, she was really quite famous and very businesslike and successful during her life. So to really bring that life cycle of success forward to different generations is really important.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to Salem 400, which will be a year-long celebration of Salem history and exploring our future together. And we have a bunch of in-school programs and after-school and special projects tied to that. And it's just going to be a great year to celebrate our history and also celebrate the amazing community that's here in Salem.
And some of the Salem 400 programs, as I understand it, help us also celebrate the 250 celebration that is the larger milestone in American history. So, David, it's been great to be here with you and to, share what's going on with learning and community engagement, because as you say, those are really pillars of how we want to be a museum for as many people as possible, as meaningfully as possible. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Lynda.
And thank you to all of our viewers for joining us. Before we go, I hope you'll make time to visit Andrew Ginn, Fashioning the World. This is the exhibition's North American debut, and it shares the vision of Andrew Ginn, a fashion designer from Singapore and based in Paris. We get inside his mind, his studio, and his own personal art collection to understand how cultures from around the world have influenced his clothing and jewelry designs. Come explore the world of Andrew Ginn and discover for yourself his voracious appetite for beauty. And, as always, Fall is a busy time in Salem and on PEM's campus. Take a guided tour, join our book club, PEM Reads, or stop in for our community art making. Fall is the perfect time to cozy up at PEM. Thanks for being with us, and see you next time.